So I know a lot of us on here, want to make a change, or maybe we're just trying to figure out that next step in our own life. Before I went to Damanhur myself for the community life program, I sort of was like, I channel for people. I do a lot of like beautiful work, but I kept getting like insights like something in my world's missing. I've always had this dream of community, of like a bigger picture, a different order. Um, I always saw the world different. For those of you that have joined on, I think a lot of you we haven't personally met yet. But I'm a medium. I commune to spirit, but I sort of hit a point on the path where I felt like I was limited. I didn't know where to turn. Um, and I sort of like had this calling. I kept getting these insights about the future and humanity, and I always believe in our potential. But I just felt like I'm born and raised in New Jersey and then lived in Florida. And I seen magical things happen, but I felt like I was always limited of what the world can look like, with a broader picture, something that brought everybody together. And I went through a really deep dive of my own personal healing journey where I was like, I'm so tired of helping others when I don't know where I'm at right now. And I sort of went through this spiral of like, spirit, source, God, like, what are you showing me? I don't know. And, and then all of a sudden, Damanhur started coming on my radar. And then I went on Gaia TV, and started watching the video. And then something inside of me was like, that's where you need to go. This is your answer. And at first I was like, Italy, what like that's never been on my radar, like, so I was like, okay. And then I kept listening to it and I kept listening to this call, and the more confusion I would say that I put myself in of trying to figure out what I was processing, I sort of felt like everybody I tried to talk to couldn't meet me. They were like, oh, that's good. Or like, oh, you're seeing that? Oh, that's cool. And I just hit this point where I felt like, okay, I'm either going crazy, but I know spirit, so I'm not going crazy. But something is telling me I need to go here. And I went without knowing. And the moment that I met this family that you see on the screen, they were family instantly. Celastrina, like instantly. Formica, like Celastrina was the first one, like, hello, and like took us on the ride. Instantly, as soon as we got in the car, our visions were mirrored. Everything that she spoke about, it just, my soul instantly was like, I wanted to cry, but of course I was just processing. But she was just saying things that in my mind, I'm like, finally, I don't know what this all means, but my soul knew I was at the right place. Um, and I did the community life program, which is what's going to be offered in October, with it, which is 10 days into the community. But so I got there, and then when I met Formica, instantly again, soul resonance, like instantly, there's the smiles, the comforts of just like the land. I knew I was at the right place and I didn't know what I was expecting. I sort of like was like, oh, okay, this magical place, like, let's go. Like, let's see what opens up. And honestly, it blew my mind because every ounce of intricacy that they put into this program and being on that land and going to the temples and meeting like-minded people, I was constantly in awe trying to keep up with processing like what I was experiencing. And everything that ended up happening ended up being my healing. Aspects of myself that I needed to look at, being held by people that could understand the deeper aspects of myself where maybe I thought that I was crazy or I didn't know anymore. And I would just say things that to me that other people couldn't grab, and they would go, okay, beautiful, and they just held me in a way that I personally never had. And I realized that as loving as I am, I always had a lot of guards and I had a lot of work to do. And this space gave me a foundation. And every day, the people that I met in that community, it was like speaking to a better version of myself. I just was in awe of what was conducted there every day, and just the food, the prayers, the joining together in activities. solutions for like, like a lot of communities fail because of fights and things like that, or two visions starting to go in different directions. And they have ways to do this, such as games and ways to sort of find humor in our anger. And I just sat back and every part of me was like, if we could all grab what they captured, the world would really have an opening to teach our children and the future generations where we can take this. And then to have respect for the earth, having respect for the animals, remembering our brothers and sisters in that tribe. And that's where I feel like I was very limited in my access with the people I knew. And then when I went there, I felt like I had to do it all. And even when I left there, I felt like I needed to do it all. And then as I healed and started to let go of all of that, I realized that everybody's streamed together and we're all in a point right now in humanity where everybody's finding this dream. But Damanhur was the dream already sealed and ready to teach and say, and just come, learn, find yourself. And that's really what everything came down to, was coming back and going, okay, what do I need to do? And then it was unlearning. And that's why I'm excited to go back and sort of see everybody else's experience, because what we can access at this space has changed my life. And enough about me, because I want to hand this off to then to continue this part. But I just want to say Damanhur is very special, not only for myself, but for humanity, and also for us to see that our potentials and dreams isn't crazy. It is something that is shared. And when we're in the right vibration and the right setting, it happens automatically. And this is all stuff that I'm still learning. So with that being said, I want to introduce you guys to Formica and Celastrina, who took their time today just to share a little bit about Damanhur, the programs, and what they represent. So welcome, guys. And welcome to Mission on Earth and Jemima for pulling this together. She's incredible and she is a force. So, and thank you to my dear sister for getting this done. So, off to you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my God. I'm now let me say we are very normal people. We are not perfect at all. No, because with this introduction, I say, oh gosh. I mean, um, so I start from who am I? I have lived in Damanhur now, it's 41 years, and Damanhur exists is already 50 years. We started a little bunch of people. We were really like, the founders were 12 people at the very beginning. And when I came, we were a few tenths of people. And now we are hundreds people with kids, with a school for kids from 0 to 14 years old. And I hope that you have seen the temples that we have excavated all together. That's our heart, our common heart. And so it's an experience that it's a big experience. And it's what is really important is that it's not only what has happened until now, but what we have in front of us that we want still to do together with others. So it's we have a dream which is probably crazy dream, but I think that we are normal crazy people, so that's so it's all okay. But the vision, you know, is to become like native indigenous people. This is really what we want to feel, the sense of tribe. Our kids are how do you say, Celastrina, in English, stanno nascendo? How do you say in English?
They are being born.
They are being born in Damanhur. Now, some of our kids are adults and they have kids. So we want really to create a sense of belonging to the same tribe, to the same people. Even if we are Western people in Italy, in Europe, which is so hard, especially we Western people, we don't have anymore, the background to create something so meaningful. But the dream is to be here in 100 years, to make a shift in the middle of this Western society, which is so complete, which has so lost completely the sense of what it means to be together with others, to have a common heart, to have a respect for each other, to create a meaningful relationship with the environment, with the spirit of nature, to protect everything which is alive. And we want, that's the dream. So we are really crazy because in Italy, especially, which is so Catholic, in these 50 years, you have to imagine that we were, in a kind of society which only allow people to live together like mother, father, and kids. If you are in a community who knows what happens there, and they are not even Catholic. So it has been really a big challenge to survive until now, to fight for the right to create something completely different. And finally, after all these years, we people around us, also here in northern Italy, they have discovered we are a little bit weird, but very good people. That we are not only, trying to allow the community to grow, but also all the relationship, because we have a big, big, big value, which is solidarity. But solidarity, it's a value that, if it is true, it doesn't remain only in a little group of people, even if that little group of people are 100 people. So we are spreading this sense of, of help, of connection all over. And so many other people, they are going to appreciate, they start appreciating us. And more than that, we became more famous outside of Italy because of the fact that it's so Catholic, because of the temples, because the temples are our heart, and we created to touch the other one's heart. It's for us the way to spread hope that everybody, if we share a dream, a vision together, there's nothing impossible. It's an underground cathedral. It has been built in secret for 15 years, and uh, and maintained the secret. And when it has been revealed, against we have been under attack from the Italian government because they wanted to destroy it. So we have to fight for the right to. So there's so much kind of the same similarities with many of the native people, that they fight for the right to exist. That's exactly what we face when a group of people want to create something new, want to protect something which is not in the mainstream. Okay, so this is why we we are here. We want to invite Damanhur. The big vision is not to stop. Never is a never-ending story. We want to continue to allow people to be inspired by our experience. We are here for the others. The temples are called the Temples of Humankind because we want to offer to all the native indigenous people that they are losing their sacred sites the possibility through our temples to still spread their spiritual heritage. This is, again, it seems a crazy project, and it is, but really we are calling as much as possible. We are getting in contact as much as possible with all the different spiritual leaders to offer them the possibility to come and to use the temples of humankind, because we decided to create Damanhur in this place in Italy, because it's in a very important energetic part of and maybe Celastrina, you can continue speaking why the synchronic lines, because I speak too much. So thank you. I want to honor your
I
presence.
didn't I didn't interrupt you because for Mika, she will need to leave a little bit earlier than me because she has a meeting. So it's beautiful for everyone also to hear you. So there was no problem for me that you were speaking. By the way, my name is Celastrina. I have been living in Damanhur for, gosh, it becomes 10 years now this winter. So it's a long time, not as long as for Mika, of course. She's the legend of the community. She does like this, but it's true even within the community. And you hear that, you feel that when you feel her presence. Um, but yes, the synchronic lines, they are energy. Perhaps some of you have already heard about the synchronic lines. They're not the same as ley lines, but they are, let's say, the mirroring of what our neurological synapses are. So they are the energy, let's say, highways of our planet that spreads energy and information through the planet and out in the universe in the same way as our brain spreads energy and information through our brain. So it's like a macrocosmos. And it's not something that has been created in Damanhur. There is this knowledge is a very ancient esoteric knowledge that many indigenous people know about, that many esoteric traditions knows about. In the ancient China, it's called the spine of the dragons because they go inside of the earth and outside, and so they have many different names in different cultures. But practically, when there is a meeting point of these energy highways or synchronic lines, it generates a lot of energy. And of course, having access to these energy points allows you to spread the energy, spread what is happening on these meeting points to the rest of the both of the planet, but also of the universe. So you will see in ancient times that many ancient temples, pyramids have been built on crossing points of these because, of course, this knowledge was there already. And so one of the, let's say, the first missions of Damanhur when they wanted to create a community was really to find the crossing points of these synchronic lines so that they could build this, let's say, new civilization, this new seed on a point in which the ideals of this place could be spread to the rest of the world. And of course, where the temples of the humankind would be the heart, because the values transmitted by the temples of the humankind is what we think, what we believe can really be the new story of humanity, in which our diversity doesn't create separation, but our diversity is a richness and is the thing that actually can create union between people. That is the most beautiful thing that we have on the planet. And so they were traveling all over, these founders, the world, to try to find and remap this map of the synchronic lines. And they found that only on two places in the world there are 4 synchronic lines that are crossing. They thought that it would be more, but they found only 2 places. One is in Tibet, which is also, they of course have this knowledge. This is the reason for why Tibet is a civilization that they are praying compassion 24 hours a day, because this is what they put out on the lines. This is their mission, and in the temples, they're monks. And the other place is here and around Turin, which is also very interesting because Turin has been for 1,000 years. Not only it was the capital of Italy, but it has been a capital of esoteric knowledge for a very long time, and a meeting point in which the Celtic civilization, and by the fall of the ancient Egyptian civilization, all the priestesses, they went up to Turin and to continue living there, and they co-lived there for a very long time and continued with these esoteric traditions before the Roman Empire came in. So, and this is also why in Turin you will find the second largest museum of Egyptian artifacts in the world, which is strange. But so these traditions, this hub, let's say in Europe, Turin as an esoteric capital or center, has also to do with the fact that the synchronic lines are there. Now, you need to imagine it's a huge field. So we are here in Damanhur, but the spread of the synchronic lines is, of course, kilometers. So this is one of the reasons to why Damanhur was made here. Of course, we don't think that it's a coincidence, let's say, that the founder of Damanhur was also a very special person, Falco Tarasaco, that he was born here as well. it was easier for them to build, that he incarnated in this special place, close to this special place, instead of if moving to Tibet would have been more difficult, let's say. Here they had, all the connections, they spoke Italian and so on.
So
yes.
I really apologize, beautiful souls. I have to go. I really hope to meet you in person soon, somehow in October, I hope, or who knows where and when. But anyway, I wish you a good life and thank you for getting in contact with us.
Thank you, Formica.
Thank you, Formica. Bye. So I don't know, I don't know how many of you we have. There is a video that speaks a little bit also about, let's say, the main mission of Damanhur. It's a video of 5 minutes, and also the missions for the future that I thought would be very interesting to project, and then to open also for your questions and anything that you want to know, but that at least gives you a very broad perspective about what Damanhur is all about, and it allows you to, for your heads to start spinning to if you have more questions and so on. So I don't know, Mitch, if you want to project that, if
Yep.
perhaps some of you have seen it, but it's not that widely spread yet. So hopefully it will be a pleasant surprise for you.
Can you guys see our screen?
I don't see any shared screen yet.
Okay.
So I got a new computer. So as we're figuring this out, in the meantime, Celastrina, for the community life program itself, this is going to be the missions. But what can people expect for the community life program?
Well, the community life program is probably the fastest and most intense real immersion into what Damanhur is really about. So it's 10 days, which is really the bare minimum. As Mitchell said, it's very intense, but it really allows people to touch both the magic, because Damanhur, it's an intentional community, but it's based and was built upon spiritual values. So it has this double side of being a community, but with very spiritual values and that are at its heart. So to really feel the vibe and the energy and the pulse of the community and the people is extremely important when you come to visit. Also to get this sense of family, really, because the idea is not to get only a sense of family with Damanhur, but what we really want to create is to get a sense of family with humanity. And even beyond that, a sense of family with humanity, with the plant world, with other species, and really to understand that we are not like humans walking around on the planet, but we are the planet. We are one of the many extensions of the planet. And coming back to this sense of union and this sense of that we are one, expressing itself in all this beautiful diversity, is really, really important. And this is what we really try to transmit also in this program in a practical sense. So not through too much theory, but through stories, because humanity is a storytelling species, but also through real life experiences. So of course you will visit the main sites, our the capital, the temples of humankind, our sacred forest, but also have deep immersions such as cacao ceremonies, and really getting to know the humanity of the other participants. As I've understood, probably we will even have within the program, if If I'm right, also, Mitchell, you will let me in because we are organizing also with Missions on Earth to have a Maya shaman within the program who is actually, whose gift to the humanity is to do cacao ceremonies. So this campus will be very particular in the sense that there will be a mix between Western people and indigenous people within the campus itself. It's the first time, and we are very honored and excited about this because it really puts to test, all of our, values and theories and stuff. How to really create that bonding in a time period of 10 days, and so especially for this campus in October, there will really be the the full experience of Damanhur, but also of everything that we are trying to transmit that you will go through face to face, really, within the program itself. So then, of course, the campus is also, we have a program that we see work, but oftentimes what we do is that if there are people or the group, they are more attracted to one thing or the other, we are very flexible because Damanhur is very, very big in a sense that there's a lot. There are some people, some groups are more interested in really doing healing ceremonies, healing sessions with many different healing techniques that we have here in Damanhur. So sometimes we have had like full days where the program has been off because people have wanted to have their personal sessions or other things, or sometimes families come and they are really interested in going to visit and see the school, while so we have a structure, but we are also flexible to the needs and the interests of the people within the community. This is a little bit the program. 10 very full days, and of course this is something that Formica also touched on. When we speak about community, we speak about really reconnecting to the territory that we're on, which is also a very indigenous concept, that you're not detached from the territory that you're on. And so when you come to Damanhur, you will really also experience the territory of this place, which is beautiful, because we are in the foothills of the Alps, so there's a lot of mountains, rivers, waterfalls, valleys. So we will also have time to really connect with this valley that is also very sacred. There's a very, as I said, very full packed 10 days. Now we don't hear Mitch, but because you have your phone off, your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, perfect timing. We can do the video, but just to mirror off of that too, everything that she highlighted, the experience too, like just from what I went through and the different people I got to talk to during the group, um, being on synchronic lines and being with the temples, one thing I noticed too is anything I came there with, I couldn't run from. So like anything that was internally going on that I truly went there for, even if it was like hidden, whether it was going in the temples or just being on the land, I would catch myself being mirrored, whether it was through a conversation, whether somebody else, like I would turn a corner and then somebody else would be processing where they're at, maybe crying, and we would just start talking. And then it would end up being this harmonious, synchronic moment where we both got to, share where we were at. And it brings you just a little bit deeper. So, bigger than anything, too, it's just the amount that comes up. Is worth it all. So I just wanted to throw that in there too. But anyway, all right. So we got the video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
I don't hear the sound.
Okay, sorry. This should work. Ooh, you mute that one. Okay, let me move this.
Scriptures speak about a time where a profound connection existed between all life on this planet, humans, animals, and plants. Indigenous peoples and ancient civilizations from across the world wove stories and myths that spoke about this profound unity. These ancient myths and stories remind us of an era when we recognize our interconnectedness with all living beings. But somewhere along the way, humanity fell into unconsciousness. In the myths, it's described as the destruction of great conscious civilizations, of a once united humanity that was shattered and separated, forgetting their union with life. Throughout history, spiritual teachers and illuminated masters have reincarnated, striving to awaken us to the fact that we are all connected, to return to a state of unity, to reawaken our memories of who we are. Now, more than ever, the call to reconnect echoes across the globe. It is the last chance for humanity to come together once again, to reawaken to our divine origin and recognize its ancient alliances with all living beings. Half a century ago, a small group of 12 missionaries embarked on a mission to create a new society where everyone can reawaken to the divine within. They founded Damanhur, an intentional spiritual community grounded in ancient wisdom and practice. In secret, they built the world's largest underground temple. This temple stands at the crossroads of four synchronic lines, the conduits of energy and information linking our planet to the universe. It plays a vital role in bringing about this mass awakening. But what Damanhur has achieved so far is merely a seed. The founder of Damanhur, one who incarnated with memories and knowledge of these ancient alliances, remember the mission to re-establish the bonds to return to our original divine state of unity, laid out a series of great magical operations required for our global awakening. Before passing away, he left the indications to the people of Damanhur to complete these missions. In the last 10 years, Damanhurians have been traveling all over the world and involved thousands of people to help realize these crucial magical missions. Our biggest missions in this current time are: Indigenous people are the spiritual grandmothers and grandfathers of humanity. They have never forgotten our original unity, and their wisdom of the profound spiritual relationship with the earth and the cosmos is crucial for the mass awakening of the world in these times. For many years, we have been welcoming representatives and shamans of the indigenous people to Damanhur so that they can deposit the essence of their people's wisdom in a crystal spiral, spreading their values and worldview to all of humanity through the spiritual energies harnessed by the temples in Damanhur. We are also in the process of building a parliament of people to host political, social, and spiritual exchanges between indigenous peoples and the Western world to facilitate the evolution of our planetary consciousness. Establishing a global network of tree connections, weaving an ancient alliance between the plant consciousness and humanity. Due to humanity's excessively cutting down forests, the trees' natural connection have weakened. We have traveled all over the world, and through magical technology, we have oriented the trees to strengthen the network of the plant world and to recreate an alliance as humans with the trees. Today, we must connect with millenary trees, as they are the grandparents of the plant world. We also need to orient trees on islands. Through their roots, they can orient the plant vegetation below the oceans. The goal is to reach 1,200 million oriented trees. When this critical mass is reached, the whole plant world will reach a new level of awareness and will be able to guide the process by itself. As for today, we have oriented 162 million trees. Before passing away, the founder of Damanhur left an ancient language based in specific hand gestures to communicate with animals that have reached a similar level of consciousness as humans, and with whom we have had strong alliances with in ancient times. The first animals that was contacted to re-establish this alliance was whales and dolphins. On these magical journeys, we've studied together with scientists the change in behavior of these animals after the connection has been made, and the results are incredible. Many people have joined us on these journeys to have a first-hand experience of the magic that occurs. These are just some of our magical missions. We invite you to join us on this transformative journey. You can contribute to and participate in one or more of these magical operations. We have now built our own online community where you can sign on and connect with people interested in the spiritual research and in recreating this ancient state of union between all living forces. In the community, you will also find many other important projects like the building of and research of spirals, their impact on us humans and how they can contribute to the planetary evolution. Spiritual People, a group that now sees over 10,000 of participants and that was born with the idea to connect all people on the planet that in their own ways are working towards the reunification and reawakening of the world. Join us in these great missions, because together we can change and awaken the world.
This AI tool will
Yeah, that is by far my favorite video. That is by far my favorite video. So thank you. And Celastrina, I guess from here, if anybody has any questions.
Yes,
Okay.
I am open to answer anything.
Does anybody have any questions, whether it's about the program, anything about like dynamics in Damanhur, maybe even like if you're trying to build a community and have that thought, and maybe you've seen yourself like this is something I want to bring to the world and I want to get a community together. Where do I begin? Because I do know that that's one of the main things with Damanhur too is if anybody's thinking about creating their community, even if it's starting with two people or you want to go big, they're really great at mirroring and helping you design it, help you figure out the mirrored work to get that done. So if anybody on the call has any questions about anything on that personal level or the program or just for Celastrina herself living in an intentional community.
I have a question. Can I just start?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
know where to raise my hand actually. I'm really wondering how you deal. I've with our family, we've visited you in Damanhur already, but just for a very short trip of 2 days. And actually, we had no chance to talk about the topic of love and relationships. So, how do you deal with this topic?
This topic is a huge topic in every community because I think it's one of the main forces of humanity and one of the main forces of conflict within a community. Let's say, or the potential conflicts within a community. When it comes to relationship and love, Damanhur has never wanted to approach this in giving a paradigm to it, in the sense that since diversity is one of the main values in Damanhur, we also recognize that there is a diversity of how we choose to love as well. There are some people who actually who have an inclination to, and who learn the best through having several relationships at the same time. While, for example, in we also recognize the fact that choosing one partner is one of the fastest ways to really mirror in a very deep way our core parts. And so it's a very spiritual, we have marriages that we call esoteric marriages that are very, very spiritual, that have their own spiritual practices, where the lovemaking really becomes a ritual almost, that are very beautiful, which is a path that I'm doing together with my husband now since many years. It's very profound, but there's no judgment toward in any sense of this. What is important when living in a community context, we have two rules, let's say, or two norms, and that is honesty and respect. So everyone is free to choose how to love. That is one of the freedom of choice is also an extremely important aspect of Damanhur. So no one is pushed into one direction or the other. We also have a monk path, people who completely obtain, like, decide to not have any sexual contact at all. But respect and honesty are the two main values when it comes to love. And also we have systems to help when it comes to difficulties. If anyone is experiencing difficulties within the couple, what is beautiful is that every couple, if you have a marriage, you have, let's say, testimonies that can help you, that you choose as a couple, that can help mirroring you as a couple, that can help talk you through things or see things from a third point of view. And this is something that, yeah, you choose these people, but this is something that happens also automatically when you live within a community with all the friends and everyone within the community. But this is, let's say, in a very short, this is our approach to relationships and love, that it's something, it's a very both a very personal thing of how we choose to love, and it's a personal journey for each person. And also sometimes it's also a journey in which we change our way of how we love and how we look at love, depending on the experiences that we have. And this is the beauty of a human life. Anyone else? Because I think we have until 9. And sorry if you hear in the background my daughter who is crying. I already, now speaking about love and relationships, I already told my husband to put her to bed half an hour ago, but he went to the greenhouse with her instead. So now you need to handle it by himself. But if you hear a crying baby or crying 4-year-old, that is the reason.
I would like to ask something.
Yes.
About the program. How often is this offered? Because I think Jemima told me about it like a few weeks ago, and I always have to have more time to schedule when I can go on vacation and something. And this is it speaks to me, so I feel like called, but I know that I cannot do this in October, no way. So is this something you offer once a year, or how is it?
So this program that is, let's say, a collaboration together with the Mission of Earth is the first and the one that we have now in October. The program itself of Community Life Campus, we have around 6 times a year. Normally it runs from March to October. So
Okay.
this is, I think that Mitchell perhaps can also put the website link on the group. Of course, this program with Mission of the Earth is special because it has this component with having also some indigenous people within the program
Yes.
itself. But otherwise, it's similar to the other programs.
Okay, good to know. That's it for now.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions?
Yeah. Hello. Thank you very much for this. This has been amazing. What the 10-day program itself, is there a particular kind of a path or a set of different things that you're learning towards an ending, or are there an introduction of many different types of topics to kind of seed interest, I guess? Oh, hello, hello.
Oh, I think she might have froze. I think we lost her.
I wasn't sure if it was me frozen or.
No, I froze too for a second. And then I'm like, wait, no, why am I freezing? That's not my computer.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we'll see if she tries to get back on. I don't know if I can. That would probably be more of her question,
Yeah.
Celastrina.
Is the Mission on Earth program going to be significantly different than a regular Damanhur?
No. So it's going to be Mission on Earth, and obviously we have wiggle room to like sort of. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Sorry, my phone overheated.
That's okay. Yesterday.
Yeah.
But like with the Mission on Earth, obviously, if there's anything that sort of intuitively fits, I think throughout. But she can take over now. But they sort of will run us through the program, and I'm pretty sure they have an outline, but then it can shift according to the group too. I'm not sure,
right.
But Celastrina.
I'm sorry, I missed the question because my phone overheated. So please,
no problem. Yeah, I was interested to know if it's if this is a program like the 10 days that then when you come there, is it largely a introduction to many different topics, or is it kind of we're moving from a start of you're here first and then we move you through to some place in 10 days? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a funny question because it's a little bit of both, in the sense that Damanhur being so complex, we will give you a glimpse that like pieces of the puzzle that hopefully by the end of the process will give you that sense of journey that you were the second thing that you spoke about, that gives you a sense of completion. So it's not like, it's not an introduction to many different topics that then you can go deeper into. Of course, we do have, for example, our university where you can study many of the topics, esoteric topics that we are speaking about, but this is more really of an experience into the community. So it's not like, a little bit of course here, a little bit of course there. Is more really to give you the understanding of the bigger picture of all the puzzle pieces of the community, so that by the end of the program you feel like, oh, okay, a sense of completion. Now I do understand. And after that, normally it's a good time for people if they feel that they want to stay longer, or if they feel that they understand where, if they want to become part of this movement, they feel that, okay, I understand my piece of the puzzle, or where I can participate, and so on.
Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense to me. So thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Celastrina, can you talk a little bit about the Popolo? Like that, I thought was one of the best part of experiences, because like I'm a loner, but yet I love people. So it's trying to find that middle way. And what I saw in Damanhur is like the Popolo had families living together, shared meals, and I thought that was pretty magical. Can you share a little bit about that?
So yeah, Damanhur is actually, we say that it's a community, a federation of communities, because it's now in this valley we are around 600 people, where let's say the main community living is in families of around from 10 to 30 people living in different settings, or in big houses where everyone have their shared space, their personal spaces, or as I live here now, which is a new project, which is more like a village setting, where everyone have their own house, and then there's a central space in the middle where we cook meals together, and so on. And so this is the sense of our everyday life, shared life together, is within our families. So our families are extended families in that sense. But then Damanhur is big also worldwide. So we have people living in the valley who are part of Damanhur but have their own houses. So they're part of some of the main communities of the projects, but they don't want to live together with other people, or people all around the world who are building up now their own communities in connection with Damanhur. So we have in Australia, in Japan, a very big community, in all over Europe, in Boulder, Colorado, and many places around the world. So the level, let's say, of participation depends on also, again, what you feel, that how much you feel that you want to connect, how much you feel that you want to be a part. And then there's the level of what we call the spiritual people, or the popolo in that sense, where of course all of us who are Damanhurians, we are part of Damanhurian citizens, we are part of that, but also people who are walking completely other spiritual paths in their lives, for example, indigenous people, or even like people who have a religion or something, but they recognize themselves in these core values and where they want to bring humanity on the planet. We have a network where we connect together. Now we are around 10,000 people, to really recognize the fact that we are one humanity. And even though we are working in many different ways and we have our own diversity, we share the same ideal of a united humanity, of a united planet, of this love that we have for each other and for the planet itself. And so this is something that is also offered in the program, to become a part of this spiritual people, and you can connect with like-minded people all over the planet through this network. So there are different levels, let's say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, what about pets?
Pets? If they are allowed, you mean?
Yep.
Well, in my village, we have like almost 10 cats and we have 1 dog. So yes, they are normally pets. Sometimes pets are like of the whole extended family. So a community, they decide to have it to take on a dog together, for example. Or pets are personal pets within the community. So the owner is more responsible. But of course, whenever there's a pet, it's cuddled by everyone. It's like this. Yeah. The only place in which pets are not allowed is in the communities that are living within the Sacred Woods Temple. And the reason for this is that we don't want to have any domesticated animals in the sacred forest, because one of the missions is to bring back wildlife there. And so wild animals, they are scared. They're scared of by dogs, but even by cats, and because domestic animals are very territorial. So now in the sacred forest, since there has not been any domesticated animal for a very long time, you see wildlife animals coming very, very close, almost becoming domestic, like wild rabbits or deers and so on. And this is the only animals that we are trying to create an alliance with, so that they don't destroy our meditation circuits, are the wild pigs. And we have difficulty communicating with them, but they live there for a sense as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I know that for this specific in October, we're going to be there. I can't think, there's the ceremony. I'm thinking Day of
Yes.
the Dead, but how do you guys?
Yeah, we have in Damanhur, we celebrate the main, let's say, heartbeats of the planet. It's for 5 times of the year, actually. It's the equinoxes and the solstices that have been celebrated through ancient times, because they are the changing of the seasons. And they are really marking, let's say, the time. It's a time in which the planet itself is communicating something big to out in the universe. So this is why this has always been celebrated in ancient times, and this is something that we are doing as well. But also in end of November, that will be part also of this program, because people are coming over those days. There's another very important portal opening on the Earth that has also been celebrated all over the planet, but sadly now, especially in America, has been turned into Halloween, which is in Mexico is called the Day of the Dead, or in I'm originally from Sweden. We have also these ancient traditions still very much alive. it's by the end of November, there is the veil between dimensions become very thin, and so the connection with our ancestors become very, very how do you say, very close. So we have also the celebration or the ceremony of what we call the commemoration of the dead, which is a beautiful moment of connecting with the other side, which is in end of November, and that you will be able to participate in through the program in October. Yeah, and to
Perfect.
see also how, because the idea of ritual in Damanhur is really only the fact that first of all, we think that magic is not something, ooh, we think that magic is just how to use the laws of nature in a way that science hasn't really catched up with yet, even though actually quantum physics is catching up very fast right now, especially on the laws of magic and so on. And so ritual is nothing else than opening, let's say, a portal in time, doing it repeatedly at the same time with the same specific things, so that you create, let's say, a portal of connection with other subtle energies of the planet. And it's not much more strange than that. And so it's interesting to be here at one of the rituals, because it allows people to live that kind of magic in a very close and intimate way without it being very strange, because especially the world ritual through films, through the the entertainment industry has become, but also through the history of the Catholic Church, has become very, let's say, demonized.
Well, I'm excited for that. And can you guys hear me? My screen disappeared, but can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I don't know where my screen went, so I can't see any of y'all, but that sounds very magical. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I need Nicole to help me figure this out.
May I ask something else?
Yes.
So in the video that we were shown, it was about the trees, and I was wondering, I didn't understand what it's about. What does it mean, oriented trees?
It's the idea of orienting the trees is that the trees in general are one of the wisest beings that we have on the planet. And naturally, forests has always been, let's say, a network that has been conducting information in between the root systems, but not only between them, but also to other beings, even human beings. And so the trees has had actually a very important process in our evolution as humanity as well, and on the planet. But through the last centuries, let's say, humanity's cutting down forests has weakened this connection of the trees as well, almost putting them into a kind of slumber. And so the orientation of the trees is a double sense, in which we use technology, which we call selfica, which is a huge topic that we will speak about also a lot more in depth of how that works. But that we are allowing them to speed up this reconnection in between themselves. This is why we are also connecting with millenary trees, because they're really like the grandparents of the tree world, and they can spread this information very fast. But also to we as Westerners, because Damanhur represents the Western people, because we are all Westerners mainly, to really let's say, go towards the trees and telling them, okay, there is a part of humanity and even the Western civilization that is now waking up. Will you please accept an alliance again with us? Will you please wake up to this alliance again to help us as well recover our memories, which is something that both trees can help us with, but also indigenous people can help us with. So they have never lost this connection, but the Western people, yes. So it's both helping them to reconnect and establish a network in between them. So also that when their energy rise, more Western people, I say Western because Western people are the majority of the people of the earth in this moment, really also reawaken to the fact that they are intelligent beings, because they will start making themselves more, let's say, not in slumber, let's say more active. And so it's a double-edged knife, both recreating an alliance with them and allowing them to reawaken more.
Okay. And it's something that has to be done in proximity. So the people have to go to the trees and...
Yes, we have in Damanhur, we have a little, but that you can also buy on the internet. We have a little pendulum that is it's a Celtic pendulum, and I think it's like 20 euros or something. It's one of the it's very accessible. That through that you go around the tree, you ask to enter into contact with it, and you walk 3 times around the tree, and then that tree is oriented. There are also
That's
other
so
ways.
beautiful.
Yes. It's very, we
Okay.
have we have many people helping us doing this all over the world. Anyone is invited to do this. And then to send, we have a big map where we have all the trees oriented. So this is why our founder, or let's say our spiritual guide Falco, he said that we need to orient at least 1,200 million trees in order for this to be completed, in a sense that they then can orient themselves. And at this moment we are around 62 million trees. So it's a huge work, but there's a huge work to do still. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Celastrina, going off of that, I think earlier when you started to talk about some of the projects like the crystal spiral, I think like sort of going off of how you were explaining Damanhur's on synchronic lines, which is very meaningful. But I think one of the most heartfelt as well was the crystal spiral and having indigenous elders put their wisdom into the crystal. Can you share a little bit about that project?
Yeah, this is a project that in which, so the idea here, similar to the ones with the trees, the indigenous people, they are really have been marginalized the last centuries, as you know, but their wisdom is crucial for the awakening that we need to see on the planet today. They are the ones who have never lost the connection with the planet as a civilization, all of them. And so the fact of being able to, let's say, preserve their spiritual heritage is really important before many of them disappear, or to be able to spread these informations that they have onto the planet to reawaken the rest of the world. So they too know this. And this is why many indigenous peoples now are speaking up, speaking about the fact that they need to reach the little brothers, which is the Western civilization, to really to spread their wisdom, so that we can do this together, because they recognize that it cannot be done if the little brothers does not wake up. So the idea to have them come to Damanhur and to deposit, let's say, a copy of the wisdom of their people into crystals, because crystals are the only let's say the only structure that is enough complex on the planet to be able to host the memories of a whole people. And so they recognize this too. So it's very beautiful when they come, the understanding and the wisdom that is mirrored by them also from the wisdom that has been left by our spiritual founder Falco. And so the fact that they deposit a seed of their civilization here allows that information to be traveled all over the planet through the synchronic lines. So there's a multi-layered here. Then, of course, the practical project that we are in the process now of building is the second temple, which is called the Temple of Concordance, which is a temple that has as it in its heart the Parliament of Peoples, which will be a parliament for indigenous peoples and Western thought leaders to meet and to really discuss and come to conclusions about how to move forward as humanity, really, because we have congresses and we have parliaments, but only for nations voted in often not very democratic ways. And so the fact of actually having communities, peoples, indigenous peoples come together and discuss the similar topics and connect with each other in a parliament is very important. So these are there's many projects, as you see, that are huge, that are very magical, that we have for at least 600 years to do here. So this is why we are extremely happy that also Damanhur is making itself known little by little in the world, so that this is something that we can all do together, co-create things together, and create more communities, create this connection to the earth and to a future that so many of us are seeing, but as Mitchell said in the beginning, often lack the tools to create.
Well said.
And with that, I think I need to greet you as well, because it's 9:10 and we have at Tuesday evenings in Damanhur we have our family meetings.
Okay, yes.
And here it's evening, so people are knocking on the door to come, because as I said, I live in a village, and so now everyone is coming up here to have family meetings where we discuss very local things like the garden in our house, or these projects, or the Damanhurian Olympic Games that are now running in August, and our participation to the various competitions. So it's very, as I said, very local things that we discuss in our family meetings.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you so much. And as Formica said, I really hope that to see some of your faces also in Damanhur, either through this program or in October or in other ways, because as you have also understood now, the more we are, the better there is. And so to connect is a superpower.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Have a beautiful night.
You too. Have a beautiful day. Most
Thank
of you
you.
from America. Goodbye. Bye, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody that's joined. And I'll be seeing you guys, I know, at some point in the future. But you guys have a beautiful day. And I think she wanted us to post something for Dem and her. So, Nicole, did you know?
So I just put everything in the chat. If anybody's interested in joining our trip, the flyers are in there as well, and you can sign up on Mission on Earth, or you can email Mitch directly. It's going to be a beautiful trip. All the info is there, but if you can't make this trip, you can go on the Damanhur website, and they have other opportunities to join the Community Life program as well. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Good to see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.